What I'm trying to say in the final analysis, once we take control of ourselves, we have to stop being imitators and be innovators. We realize we've got a continent 12 million square miles. Wherever our bodies are on the face of this earth, our cultural and political heartbeat is in Africa. Whether you ever go to Africa or not, that is your home, that is the home of your spirit, and that is the heart and meaning and definition of your commitment. And none of us, any place in the world, will be free until that continent is free.
The Mossy Warrior Clan was created because myself and others like Brother Nahisi saw a need for a young African group to analyze information concerning the African phenomenon with no bias, with rigor, and with scholarship. We created the Mossy Warrior Clan for the purpose of being an expert research team, of being a team that produced products, a team that was capable of producing products for African people globally to dispel myths, rumors, and provide them with accurate scholarship.
fuck y'all find an African in my fucking family,
He
but y'all
died
ain't
by
find
his
y'all?
own genealogy.
Shut the fuck up. That don't make sense, for one. Listen, y'all don't know what y'all
I
did.
don't feel like you standing on business.
And y'all lied on me, because y'all don't even know if that's me. And if y'all can trace that shit back to it's me, it's only 2 people in YouTube that got my information.
Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of me. Half of this track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us honestly. You ain't a Cherokee, you ain't a Chickasaw, you ain't a Blackfoot, nigga get lost. You just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Call that Abos slipping with his genealogy. Now he's a con and I ain't talking about a singer. I'm coming for the top Abo leader. He ain't a teacher, he's a preacher. He can't keep up, so we leave him. Yeah, he died by his own genealogy. You ain't an Indian, you ain't got a lot of me. Half of the track, best believe you lose a lot of sleep. Probably because you made it up to us possibly. You ain't a Cherokee, you ain't a Chickasaw, you ain't a Blackfoot. Nigga get lost, you just a fool with low comprehension. So I gotta come through with the henchmen. NAC, Sean P, Shy Son, Lucky. Don't forget Jay, got no time to play. Caught an apple slipping off his genealogy. Now he's a con. OTK, TKO. Now he's a con. OTK, you died. TKO genealogy.
Street Sutek tried to line it up, and he was like, I don't debate y'all. Y'all too disrespectful. Aboriginal power won't even debate Sean because he too disrespectful.
Yeah, he is though. No, he really is though. I can't really like you, bro. You cool. Not a coincidence. I actually chop it up with but niggas that come off too heated and disrespectful, like I said, I'll debate you, bro. But we gotta get in the ring first. If you want to be disrespectful like that, at least disrespect me in the ring, bro.
Oh, God, bro.
Let's start now, bro. Can you disrespect me in a cage, bro? Like, I'd rather just do that. Then we go straight from the cage. I mean, put your ice on the way to the motherfucking computer, and we'll debate directly after that, nigga. Shit.
That's why I don't do these. Fucking with the nigga and shit. You feel me? Like, it's like, wait, bro, talk like that. We gotta get face to face. We can talk to you like that, my nigga.
Yeah, Peanut. You feel me? Go ahead, I got my brother over here. Peanut, what's the word, my brother? What's the champ?
Yeah, I appreciate you, man, but Lucky, let me say this, man. First of all, I'm an older brother. I'm young in spirit as I stay in shape. But I'm older. I deserve respect. Don't lie on me. You're not going to get nowhere lying, because that's what's going to make you fall face first. Second of all, I'm well known in the Pan-African community. I'm not nobody new. You're younger than me. You don't know this. I didn't put in work and expose Rob Bourne, Sutek, any of them people over there. They know it deep down inside. And I'm gonna be long-winded. I'm a Moorish American. I already had back and forth with them dudes. They erased videos. I'm not running from anybody. Don't ever say that stupid shit again. Third, and last but not least, I'm not losing no debate to no Pan-African. So don't ever say that shit again, Famo. And that's it. Appreciate y'all, man.
You heard that. If Sean P want to debate, tell him to debate the champ over there, right?
Sutek wanna know. So this just like it's a pecking order. It's a pecking. So Sean want you, and Sutek want him. We say PMF ain't on his
No problem. There's no problem, man. Let's set up the Sutek debate, man. I don't like him anyway.
Okay, so I love that song, brother. I love that warrior mentality.
That's how it's going. I love to tell Sutek, tell people. There ain't nothing. My champ always in the chat. Album pop in, we'll set a topic, we'll set a date, and we'll make it pay-per-view. We'll chop it up behind the scenes, I get their contact, we make it work, you know? So, you heard it right here. He ain't ducking no phase, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. He put this over here on y'all channel, but then when we get in other
Hey, alright, I will block your ass, nigga, because I'm well known for disrupting them chats over there. Nigga, stop fucking lying, nigga. You a goofy, nigga. I would never let a lame ass nigga around me in my face, clown.
You gonna block me and I don't be
It ain't no time I ain't ever been on the Pan Africa channel and made my impact. Stop lying. I'm a real man, bro. Stop lying, fam. Don't do PNF like that.
PNF, he trying to trigger you, brother. And
the fuck up.
But listen, he did that to me, talking about, oh, word on the street, I'm ducking from John B. I've never even had but one conversation with this little disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, okay, yeah, he a little hot. He like that.
So he like...
from Africa, but they will be able to tell you about Africa. They wouldn't be vaguely saying they from Africa, brother. Like when a European says I'm from Europe, he doesn't say I'm from Europe. He says I'm from Germany. I'm from a particular province. I still got people out there, right? You know, when people say hold on. When people say they from Asia, they tell you where about from Asia they from. They tell you their province. They tell you they still got people out there. These people will confirm that they are indeed a part of their heritage. But you niggas was calling y'all African? Oh, mysteriously, you have no contact with the people you say you descend from. So I don't believe you. Bro.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this whip in. I caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Ay. Caught another apple slipping. Ay. Caught another apple slipping. Ay. Caught another apple. Caught another. Let's go. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Karemio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, No matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, you are African. Call the Abos slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
Got some dewy-eyed thing that you got a friend. I still ask you to look at that mirror. And if nothing's staring back at you is friendly, then you've got no friend.
Peace to everybody in the chat. It's your boy Sean P in the place to be. Make sure you like the show, share the show, tell a friend, we live. We about to go up in the building today. Y'all see the title.
Shadow ban my niggas, you out this bitch faking views. You broke as fuck in this bitch, probably dropped out of school. Now you on this bitch, tryna go viral off faking news. He do this shit for clout, that's why he got to reading this shit in his videos. These niggas ain't even big enough, that's why I drop subliminals. Yeah, man, we finna get it in. Make sure y'all like the show, share the show, tell a friend, we live. All my sources are in the description. I try to provide y'all with as much information as possible. We're gonna talk about what's going on in these streets. This boy Al Power, aka Al Power, that's just, you know what I'm saying, YouTube, man. But we know him as Calvin Denzel Roberts. You know what I'm saying? We don't know no Al Power. We know this short fat dude from the project by the name of Calvin Denzel Roberts. That's who we know. I don't know what everybody else knows, but that's who we know. You know what I mean? So we gotta deal with it how we need to deal with it, and then get it straight, you know? You know, get it straight. So hit that like button, share the show, man. You finna deal with it. Y'all here looking, keeping that gospel. That's too lucky. Peace to everybody in the chat, man. We got Mari in the chat. We got Chill in the chat. We got Neck in the chat. Ramon in the building. Rise in the building. Strabaka. You know what I'm saying? We got Midwest Titty. You saying there's a 100 Claw sighting. Yeah. We got fat-headed ass Mika in the building. In that line. Bywash is in the building. We got Timmy Turner. Rich Religional. We got a bunch of people in the building that ain't said nothing yet. Hit that like button. Join the pen. Hey, hit it up. We finna go up right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Lucky in the chat for giving us the sneak dish, you know what I'm saying? For giving her the business. That intro has feelings of inferiority written all over it. So, Rich Religional, what are you talking about? You said the intro. Your feelings hurt already? The show ain't even fucking started. How you already in the chat crying? This dude, Bywash, says Black African Americans crying and punching air right now. Why would Black African Americans be crying and punching the air right now? Huh? You probably meant, I don't know what you mean. Clear that up. I don't know what you're talking about. Man, I don't give a fuck about your name, bro. Elaborate. What you mean? Why Black African Americans crying, Bywash? Before we get the show started, bro. Let's get to that. Don't say you came and commented and then you left.
There's no reason for black African Americans to be doing any crime, bro. What are you talking about? We ain't crying about nothing over here. All right, man. So I see Buddy ain't gonna have nothing to say. Who the fuck call themselves Afro Americans? What's wrong with y'all? You got a monkey as a profile picture, bro. Oh, y'all the new age trolls. Oh, I got it. Y'all the two dudes from Facebook that be hiding their hands. We got melanated goddess in the building. We call her Chocolate Tie for a reason. Midwest was good. Let me share my screen, man. We finna get directly to it. So, I'm just minding my business today. You know what I'm saying? I'm off the next 3 days, and I really ain't got nothing going on. I just gotta get some brand new furniture delivered tomorrow for a bedroom suite. So, I gotta get all that taken care of. So I finally got that taken care of. Got some stuff I needed to get it to the store stored. You know what I'm saying? Now I got time on my hands, so it's up. But I've been listening in and chiming in today to not a coincidence and Lucky. They both had back-to-back shows, but it was Lucky's show who was running a video. Supposedly supposed to be responding to Not a Coincidence, who had a prior conversation with Calvin the day before. So Not a Coincidence supposedly hops on the panel and corrects him on some information. So next thing you know, the next day, dude in his feelings. So I'm trying to figure out what he in his feelings about. So before we get into anything, I want to lay down the law immediately. You know what I'm saying? I want to lay the law down immediately. Then we're going to get right into what we need to get right into. Everybody should be able to see the screen. I'm going to make it bigger for everybody else. What's up, Callie? What's good with you? Hit the like button. Who else in here? Somebody else said something. What's up, peace to whoever else, man? I don't know. Somebody might be. If you're unable to comment, switch your profile and tell me. Shit, I don't know. This is the hierarchy of science, the scientific evidence. From the weakest to the strongest argument, you see this chart. You have case reports, opinion papers, and letters. You have animal trials, in vitro studies, cross-sectional studies, case control studies, cohort studies, randomized controlled trials, meta-analysis, and systemic reviews. Meta-analysis and systemic reviews are the strongest evidence that anyone could actually have when trying to present information in any realm of academia, or even if you're in these YouTube streets. What is considered not scientific evidence, right? YouTube videos. That goes for TikTok. That goes for, what's that other shit y'all be using to give you about 90 seconds? Snapchat. IG. Right? That wouldn't be considered that. Personal anecdotes. You get people online arguing with you about a historical account, and then they want to turn around and say, well, my grandmama said, or my people said. You hear it all the time. You hear this one particular dude who might pop up in the chat and he'll say this. Yo, Champagne, my peoples is from Florida. We was the Geechee, and we is the Black Seminoles and the Maroons, and we is not African. We is the peoples from America. We've been in America. We got the black peoples in Panama that Balboa saw. He said he found the black peoples. That's what Balboa said. He didn't know where they come from. He said they've been there. They've been there, and these is the peoples that he's talking about. So, personal anecdotal accounts can't be constituted as scientific evidence. Gut feelings, parental instincts, some guy you know, websites like Natural News, InfoWars, Natural Health Warriors, Collective Evolution, Green Med Info, Mercola.com, Well.2, etc. None of those are in the realm of scientific evidence. Right? So I just want to set, like I said, I just want to set the stage, because I'm gonna let a video rock out, and I need to just put y'all up on something. But before we get there. So here is a step-by-step guide to doing historical research. We're having a historical conversations, right? With people. The main reason that we're here is that we're all in some form, shape, form, or fashion trying to get history right. Right? Some of us are trying to get history right. Right? Even the people who ain't trying to get it right. You know what I'm saying? So Bywash, I can approve your comment got blocked from YouTube. YouTube blocked your comment, but I can see it. It says the great mystery didn't intend them to be that way. We weakened the species and introduced disease by mixing what should be kept separate among humans, and the marriage weakens the respect people. I don't know what you're talking about, Bywash. That don't even make sense to what you initially said, because you said something about okay, here's his full comment, Lucky. He says, no, the great mystery didn't intend them to be that way. We weakened the species and introduced disease by mixing what should be kept separate. Among humans, intermarriage weakens the respect people have for themselves and for their traditions. It undermines clarity of spirit and mind, Russell means. So that was a quote that you gave by Wash. But when you said what you said about black people in America, how we should feel some kind of way, what did you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? We don't know what you mean by that. Now, so here we go right here. This is without getting hysterical, right? The range and richness of historical sources. Every period leaves traces. Fuck what they talking about. When they be on these streams running their mouth, they love to say all of this other stuff and hide from the reality of the evidence. Every period leaves traces, what historians call sources or evidence. So when they tell you that they lost their history, culture, names, language, gods, and how the white man pistol whipped them up out of the history books, and how the Native Americans hijacked them up out of their culture, they are lying. Every period leaves traces, what historians call sources or evidence. Where is the evidence of the events occurring to them that they said transpired? There would have been bloodbaths. There would have been these Europeans, these white men would have been writing about what they're doing to these black people if they already been here. The Native Americans themselves will have some type of stories of oral tradition that they would talk about conquering another people and entering in their lands and taking the land from them. You would have all of these instances. There will be evidence. Some are more credible. Let me continue. Some are more credible or carry more weight than others. Judging the differences is a vital skill developed by good historians. Sources vary in perspective, so knowing who created the information you are examining is vital. It is vital. We need to know who created this information. If I was to pull up on the screen right now, Dane Calloway's book, and let him sit here and talk about the formation of the American Colonization Society and how it was to how the slave trade happened in reverse because it did X, Y, and Z. All of y'all to be looking over there scratching your fucking heads like, why did he even publish this book? When he never made a single argument to solidify the validity of his belief that the slave trade happened in reverse. Anyway, I'm going to skip ahead. Historians classify sources into two categories, primary and secondary sources. Secondary sources are created by someone who was either not present when the event occurred or removed from it in time. We use secondary sources for overview information to familiarize ourselves with a topic and compare that topic with other events in history, right? Primary sources emanate from individuals or groups who participated in or witnessed an event and recorded that event during or immediately after the event. Let me be clear. There is not a single primary, secondary, or tertiary source that says that during the Reconstruction era, Black people were reclassified as something else and they were wiped out of history and the white man took over. Before the war, there is no primary, secondary, or tertiary sources that shows that Black people were reclassified into colored, that was reclassified into Native American Indian. None of that exists. Anything that they have told us, we ain't seen a primary, secondary, or tertiary source. If we're having a conversation with these people over settled history, where is the primary sources? They will claim that the primary sources is they grandmama or they auntie or they uncle. Then to double down on that, they would say, I did my genealogy. I ain't got no Africans in my family. Ain't nobody showing up that's coming from Africa in the census. This ain't being this ain't being that. The whole time, we never see a source. These dudes get to bumping their gums running around nowadays. Oh, they talking methodology. What's your methodology? What did you use to come to a conclusion? What sources? You never heard these things. We're hard pressed to get a true answer out of these non-believers because they can't show the evidence. I'm just keeping it real. Rich is in the chat. He said that we can't handle the truth. Yo, Rich, I will stop right now. Hold on. As a matter of fact, before I even continue the build, I will yield the floor to you. Come show me a primary source that says that you as a Black person have always been in America and that your people have been here and that they did rewrite the history and they kicked you out of the history. The link is in the chat for you. I'll wait till you hit that link and I'm going to continue to see if you're going to hit that link. So anyway, you need a historical analysis. What is it? No matter what you read, whether it's a primary or secondary source, you want to know who authored the source. That's why I tell y'all who wrote it and when they wrote it is pivotal. Who wrote the source? Was it a trusted scholar, a controversial historian, a propagandist, a famous person, or an ordinary individual? Authors refer to anyone who created information in any medium, film, sound, or text. You also need to know when it was written and what kind of audience the author intended to reach. Know your author. Like the dude in the chat, he don't know who he's talking to. This is his first time popping up. He don't know who the author is, so he really confused. He don't know. He ain't, the burden of proof is a little too high to meet. Next. Who, when, where, what, and why. The 5 W's that I continue to mention to everybody because when I was in school, this is the first thing that I learned from my teacher when I was in history class. One of the only freaking classes that I paid attention to in my childhood outside of science and math. The 5 W's. Who, when, where, what, and why. As I stated earlier and the source stated earlier, no matter where we are in this world, we leave evidence behind. So if we're claiming that something happened to us, there is evidence, there is proof that we can verify the actual statement that something happened. What is that something? When did it occur? Why did it occur? And where did it occur? And who was behind it all? The 5 W's. You need to know definitions of terms, which is essential in having conversations with people. People blurt out Pan-Africanism. What is Pan? You got to immediately not get triggered by the word because they're trying to gaslight you. You have to ask them, define Pan-Africanism. If they don't define what Pan-Africanism is, then you know that their intent is to gaslight and trigger you into something else so that they can move the goalposts off of what the real issue is. If you're really serious about the work that you're doing, you're going to craft a thesis. You're going to come up with all these things, right, that you got to put into play. I'm not going to go too far on this because I did leave this source, but the rest of this information is going to take you down the path of being able to present information or your argument in an articulate fashion to be able to be taken serious by some academic out there that might get your work in their hands. Even these presentations that y'all quote unquote want us people to do online, it still has to have some form. So basically, in short, ladies and gentlemen, there is a historical method in how to disseminate information. And here is some things right here. And even going through that path, you have to ask questions, formulate your plans, and move forward. I am setting the table for something bigger. You heard me mention systemic, right? So, a systemic review is a comprehensive structured analysis of existing research on a specific topic. Its uses predefined criteria to identify, evaluate, and synthesize relevant studies, aiming to provide an unbiased summary of the current evidence. The explicit and systemic approach of a systemic review distinguishes it from traditional reviews and commentaries. So how systemic reviews differ from narrative reviews? Right now, the Aboriginal, Indigenous, Black Native, Black Indian, Indigenous Black have a narrative. They don't have nothing else. They have a narrative. So how systemic reviews differ from narrative reviews? So they just giving us a narrative. This shit don't even work. So here's the difference. See, with systemic reviews, you got goals. You got sources of literature. You got a selection of criteria. You got appraisal of study quality. You got a checklist of shit that you have to have in order to be able to even present the information. You got to make sure that you meet the burden of proof factor. When you talk in history, you can't speculate. This ain't the church. We ain't looking for members. We ain't taking tithes. And we don't need you to believe. We need you to have a systematic approach toward the information that you're seriously interested in. To continue, a systemic review is a type of review that uses repeatable methods to find, select, and synthesize all available evidence. It answers a clearly formulated research question and explicitly states the methods used to arrive at that answer. There is a reason I am telling y'all this. You must know. A review is an overview of the research that's already been completed on the topic. What makes a systemic review different from other types of reviews is that the research methods are designed to reduce bias. I'm going to say it one more time. Research methods. So when you hear Negroes online talking about methodology, and then they turn around and try to present it as a conclusion, and it's biased as hell, and you can hear the biasness in the shit that they're saying, you must know that it wasn't a systemic review. You have to identify it immediately. because research methods are designed to reduce bias. The methods are repeatable, and the approach is formal and systemic. Formulate research questions, develop a protocol, search for all relevant studies, apply selection criteria, extract the data, synthesize the data. If you're writing, you're going to write and publish your report. But they ain't getting that far. We don't know if the research information that they're critiquing, we don't know if they're using a qualitative or quantitative method. We don't know what historical method that they are using to come to the conclusions on any of this. As I told you before, no people exist on this planet and don't have any sources or evidence to tell you where they came from. Every human that exists on this planet knows how they got to where they got to, according to the evidence. I don't even care if they're using some type of mythology or oral tradition to explain away what people in their culture say about them existing in the areas that they exist in. Abos don't even have any oral tradition. We can't go listen to someone tell us how they always been in the Americas from the certain Abo community. They just make the claim. They just spin the narrative. What folklore exists that would actually tell the story? What was they staple foods? Certain type of foods wasn't even made readily available. So what were they eating at that time? Who taught them to fish, to make fire, to farm? Where did these sciences develop? Away from everyone else. What about building canoes, rafting? How did they know the difference between the directions, north, south, east, and west? Who was looking at the sun? How did they develop a method of time? Days of the week? How many moons? How many sunrises? We don't know none of this shit about the Abos. None. Zero. Zilch. There's levels to evidence. That's why I stick to a methodology, because I have to remove the bias before I even speak. I can sit here and deny. It's not going to be a good look on me. If I'm live and I'm listening to something and I'm just denying it, I either already know this information or I'm being biased. And I readily remove my bias, because the information will make me change my position on something if you present the primary evidence. No one has presented information in 10 years. We ain't seen it. Y'all had all the time in the world to make all these videos on YouTube and then publish these fake books that are plagiarized and then thrown on people with no explanation, not even a conclusion in the books. Some of y'all ain't got no numbers on. I ain't tripping on the page numbers. Some of y'all ain't even got the books properly cited or even got a bibliography. And y'all still running around here talking about Egypt is in America. Most of y'all. Or the slave trade never happened, with all the empirical evidence that exists. So the evidence pyramid is often used to illustrate the development of evidence. At the base of the pyramid is animal research, laboratory studies. There's where ideas are first developed. As you progress up the pyramid, there's an amount of information available, and it decreases in volume but increases in relevance to the clinical settings. That is why you have to look at the pyramidal level, even in these environments, for certain things. Now, this is more scientific than historical, so I'm not going to elaborate on it. But there is levels to research. You must know. You have to know. So again, leaders, managers, policies, and programs, statute practitioners need the confidence, yada, yada, yada. I don't need to read all of that. That has nothing to do with this part right here. Evidence hierarchies rank different research or evaluation studies based on the rigor of their research methods. Evidence hierarchies vary with different organizations using different criteria to group study designs. In general, the greater the number of high-quality studies, including analysis, and the rigorous the research design, the higher the evidence rating. Research with the strongest indication of effectiveness, such as a systemic reviews, meta-analysis, and randomized controlled trials, are usually at the top of the evidence hierarchy. That is why we always ask about your methodology. A Negro on TikTok is not a source. Where is he getting the information? What is the information being said, and why is it being stated? We develop more questions. Now, I'm not going to be the dead horse, but I just wanted to lay the foundation for where we're about to go. And Grandma said it's not a goddamn source. I don't care what they say. You can feel how you feel. Shit, your grandma ain't perfect. Her ass been wrong. All right, so we finna go to Knoxville, Tennessee, and we finna listen to Calvin Denzel Roberts, unofficially known as Aboriginal Power. If you come from Not a Coincidence, you coming for me. If you coming for Lucky, you coming for me. If you coming for Cali, you coming for me. If you coming for YK, you coming for me. If you coming for any of my brothers, Robert Lee, you coming for me. I don't know who else be on your platform, but whoever might step foot on your platform, Vyasa, Sutek, Kofi, you ain't gonna never see Kofi. He ain't fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? Any of the Marcy or the Kofi Pie research team or the Seshu Minor Meta Nature, you know what I mean? You're coming for me. So when you got something to say to one person, you saying something to us all. And that's just how it go. So we finna review this. Let me know if y'all can hear the sound.
Marshall, brother Nasir, never back down. Talk your talk media. We paint our own future, signing with our name.
This is for the people. Yes, we're taking our stand. Unity.
Man. All right, so y'all can hear, right?
Like scared around here. Don't be scared, children. I'm just the wizard. Come talk to the wizard.
The wizard.
You feel me? Shout out to the real ones in the chat, though. Before we even get right into it, man, this is so I ain't gonna be in here for a long time. We're gonna be here for a good time. You understand me? Yeah, fish sandwiches. Come on now. Come on now, Sanchi. I'm the boogeyman. Like you the boogeyman. We've been waiting on Sanchi to come catch wreck for a long time. You be over there whooping them niggas on TikTok. Man, you already know what's going on, man. You got to make sure we watch out for the front and the back and make sure what's beside.
I don't do all that. I just know. I'm an intellectual, so I'm
whoa, let me go back.
see what I'm saying? How AI is changing their perspective and becoming woke, but the Pan-Africans ain't.
Listen to this.
You know, when we was on it, right, we had to research it and shit.
What I'm saying? Because we got the motherfucking plan. You understand what I'm saying? And when I gotta do a nigga grind me, first nigga I'm calling is certified Sanchi, man. Shout out to Sanchi in the building, though. What's the word?
What's that, man? Yeah, man. You the YouTube boogie, man. Then it's a nigga over there named Engine on TikTok. Engine stand for it's Negro business. I mean, no, it's Engine business. It stands for it's Negroes, just us Negroes business.
Okay, that's what Engine means, huh?
Yeah. It's Negroes,
Engine.
just us Negroes.
Yeah, Engine. Yeah, good old Engine. That's a nigga.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, on Google, if you got AI overview, you can ask Google a question. And Google will tell you that the CIA funds Black Americans to promote African heritage to Black Americans.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing that. All the universities been doing that. I broke that down when I seen the CIA funded the briefing letter. When I seen that shit.
Yeah, but it's so out in the open now. You know, we had to, when we was on it, right, we had to research it and shit. It's so out in the open now, you can ask Google simply, based on the history of the American society, African culture, is it safe to say the government funds Black Americans to promote African heritage to Black Americans? And Google gonna say yeah.
Oh yeah, I already know. That's the damn. That's crazy though. We so much on it, and this how slow a lot of these Pan-Africans is. Even AI is changing their perspective to the Aboriginal philosophy. You see what I'm saying? Slowly but sure, but Pan-Africans ain't though. You see what I'm saying? How AI is changing their perspective.
AI changing their perspective on Aboriginal business. AI don't even know what y'all are talking about. You keep mentioning, see what I mean by gaslighting when they say Pan-African, it's gaslighting. But here they got knowledge is power, and then got Aboriginal power, the hypocrisy and the stupidity between these boys. But let's go.
They're becoming woke, but the Pan-Africans ain't.
You know, the president of Colombia told the UN, I think it was November 14th, in his speech, only the black-skinned people been here thousands of years. They the ones ancestors here.
I seen that. Sanchi, I think we should formulate a Tennessee debate group.
Man, I give information in the background. You know, I don't like debating. I ain't without shit.
Nigga, you be yelling louder than anybody that I know that'll be on the team.
I like TikTok. I don't like shit. I like to run up on the motherfucker, hit them with the backs, and when they can't even. This YouTube shit is too much game, and I ain't got time for all this shit.
It's too much slickery, ain't it?
It's too much bullshit. Like, I show them Carter G. Woodson book, what he's saying. They talking about, it didn't say that, it said in the appendix. Motherfucker, that's on page 20. We're in the appendix with page 20.
Somebody said, Sanchi ain't got no scholarship. I know for a fact he'll smoke you, YK. I know I'll put a 50 ball on my nigga Sanchi.
That nigga crazy.
Hey yo, Calvin Denzel Roberts, I'll take that bit and I'll quadruple down. I'll put 200 on YK. Neutral site, neutral platform. YK versus your best. 200. As a matter of fact, I take YK a stack. I got a stack on YK and I got a stack on Not a Coincidence. Oh, you can't count that high. So I stay in your realm. If you get 50 is all you got, I got 100. I got 50 on one, 50 on the other. Better yet, I'll do 200 to your 50. 200 on YK, 200 on NAC to your 50 on verse YK and 50 verse NAC. neutral site. And then I got another 2 on Lucky to your 50. Cause I know you can't match me. So I ain't even trying to ask you to match. Since you like to run your mouth and you want to be a promoter so fucking bad.
I just don't got time to argue with dummies. See, my attention span, see, I'm kind of, I got.
This dude, certified Sachi, is what he call himself. Said he ain't got time to argue with dummies. Right? So he must think I'm super intelligent because as soon as I got into a smoke signal chat the other day, the first comment to me was that he wanted to debate me. Said I ain't got no information. He wanted to debate me. And then in this video that he did the other day, he come out and say he ain't got time for a certain kind of individual. But let him go.
I'm an intellectual, so I'm a hood intellectual.
He said he an intellectual, he a hood intellectual. Ladies and gentlemen, if you Google what an intellectual is, let's just do that for the audience without moving the video, right? Without moving the video, we're going to find out what an intellectual is, right? What's an intellectual, right? A person possessing a highly developed intellect, a prominent political thinker, an intellectual. To be intellectual means to engage in critical thinking, research, and deep reflection, often focusing on abstract ideas, philosophy, and society. It involves a high degree of mental activity and a value placed on reason, logic, and the pursuit of knowledge. Though it is distinct from being intelligent, as it emphasizes a lifestyle centered on mental pursuits rather than just having the high IQ. An intellectual person often enjoys activities that involve careful thinking and mental effort, such as reading, writing, and discussing complex subjects. He said that he is an intellectual, then he put the hood in front of it. He set himself up, and then he says this.
You just slow. You got a short attention span. You see what I'm saying? So
no, it ain't even a short attention span. It's short tolerance for dummies.
See, I got a high tolerance for dummies. You ain't noticed that?
Yeah, I know. That's why. That's why you fuck with YK and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why
I was in slow class.
If it was me, shit, them niggas would be gone.
They remind me of some of my old classmates. That's all. You know, when I was in slow classes. You feel me?
You like patting people on their helmets. I know.
This fool just admitted to Sachi that he was in slow classes. Calvin Denzel Roberts admits to Sachi that he himself, he was in slow classes.
Yep. Teaching them. Doing all kind of slow shit. Somebody said leave Sanchi out too.
I ain't no debater.
Somebody said that the research.
Once again, Sachi says he's not a debater. But if I go back a few days when I popped up in Smoke Signal Chat, as a matter of fact, on one of the videos, I was live and I was showing Smoke Signal Chat. I do believe I was showing Smoke Signal Chat. Sachi is asking to debate me. And now, to this day, he's not even a debater. He is the furthest from an intellectual person I've ever known. Every panel he's been on, he's loud and wrong. He don't bring nothing to the table but his voice, and wrong.
He couldn't find a needle in the hay and a needle on Skid Row. Leave Savage. Nobody said that about Savage. And I said Sanchi and Tight Sam. I want to see Savage get active one time because he be making some bold claims and he do be in them archives and shit. I just got to see him put together a bill, put together a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
I don't do all that. I just know that we be arguing shit like what we arguing right now with niggas here and all that shit. Nigga, that shit already been proven. We be arguing shit that's already been proven. They trying to debunk it now with DNA.
He said we arguing things that already been proven, and we're trying to debunk it now using DNA. Remember, Sachi just said that he's an intellectual. If he was such an intellectual, he wouldn't have said that we're trying to debunk a narrative, a belief that they just started engaging in 2015. They just started engaging in this shit less than 10 years ago, and here we go. We're just now trying to debunk something? No, if the history's already settled, why is you proposing an alternate history? Why is you trying to say, oh, you blaming the white man for some shit? Oh, that's what the white people told you in school. Hell no. I learned more shit when I got out of school than I learned in school. And it wasn't no white person telling me that shit. It was thumbing through and reading months and months and months and months and years and years and years worth of literature, to the point that I read so many books in like a 5 to 6 year span that I said, man, I needed a break. Because I was so caught up in nothing but reading and researching and vetting sources and cross-referencing and all of that crazy shit from reading. I said, man, I need a break. I stopped buying books. I made sure I ain't bought a book. Well, I bought Michael Gomez's book recently, but I haven't bought a book intentionally in about a year on purpose. Made sure that I read all my books up that I did purchase. And then I got this fool on a live stream talking about he's an intellectual, and now we're trying to debunk what they're saying using DNA. You're not too smart. You're not too shabby. I'm not living it down. Listen to him exercise his intellectualism.
But how do you provide your proof on TikTok, though?
Here we go.
See, that's why I got all them screenshots on my phone. That's why when I be pulling up, I be able to post that little shit in that little box on there. You know what I'm talking about? On the share screen.
Okay. Yeah, it's easier for people that's really on the go.
They trying to debunk it now with DNA.
But how do you provide your proof on TikTok, though?
This man told us that he an intellectual. Hood intellectual. Calvin asked him, how do you provide your proof on TikTok? This man says, I just screenshot stuff. That's his way of claiming proof. We don't know what he's screenshotting. We don't know the validity of the screenshot. We don't even know if it's saying what he's saying in his TikToks. I don't have TikTok, so I don't know. But we're supposed to believe him because he's showing something on TikTok and speaking to whatever it is that he screenshotted and shared. We don't know if he leaves in the description a source for you to be able to review the material and qualify it or not. I don't know. If anyone has ever seen a Sachi TikTok, remember, he's an intellectual. So if anyone's seen a Sachi TikTok. Can you put it in the chat or message me on Facebook with the Sachi TikTok? Where my peoples from TikTok at? Put him in my inbox. I want to see this intellectual at work.
See, that's why I got all them screenshots on my phone. That's why when I be pulling up, I be able to post that little shit in that little box on there. You know what I'm talking about? On the share screen.
Okay. Yeah, it's easier for people that's really on the go and mobile, that's on the phones and shit too. It makes it easier for them. See, me, I can't do my research like that. See, me, I gotta get into my bag. You feel me?
Nah, you can get into your bag. You just gotta know how to frame it up for TikTok. That's all.
Yeah, I see. If I screenshot, I'll be screenshotting till tomorrow.
You gotta know how to frame it. It's all about your frame game, man. You get your frame game together, man.
Nah, that's what you there for, nigga. Shit. I work the YouTube, nigga. You work the TikTok, nigga. I give you all the information, nigga. You just frame that motherfucker up and beat them up. And when I need something over this side, just shoot it over this way. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, TikTok is more of a fast pace. It's like microwave. It's like a microwave. You know, and the microwave is fire. If you ain't got no microwave in the house, you feel lonely. You feel naked in the house without a microwave in the crib.
But you are an intellectual, Sachi. Why you ain't reading no books? Why you ain't sharing no books? Why is everything a screenshot? You do know that you could be biasly looking up the wrong shit, making your TikToks, and then someone goes behind you and debunk you because what you said in your TikTok, you didn't read it in its entirety because you just basically found and cherry-picked a point of a source that you wanted to utilize with, frame it in your shit, and then mention that shit and then run. Because I'm pretty sure that you're not going back and checking the comments or reading the comments and arguing with people who probably have the more knowledge on the subject matter than you, but you're supposed to be the hood intellectual. The dude you talking to already admitted that he was slow. He was in slow classes. So if he's slow and he was in slow classes and you a hood intellectual, I don't know what the fuck we listening to right now.
You feel me?
He put up and cook a nigga egg quick. He be up there talking about some shit.
But see, when I get on TikTok, I don't be getting no smoke from no I don't even see Africans when I'm on TikTok.
See, you got to what you got to do. You got to roam the streets a little while.
On TikTok, I got it on my tablet where I can get on TikTok on my tablet and roam, and get on people panels. I guess probably.
All you gotta do is jump on a couple African panels to go in on there. Start following you around.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm gonna do that. So who you got? How you feel about this debate coming up? Lucky versus Dulcinea.
Man, I got Dozy. They ain't found the album period over there. They ain't found number derivatives. I already know this. Read all the abstracts.
So you got Dulcinea for sure.
Yeah.
Who you got with Truthful? Truthful versus YK.
I'm taking Truthful. I ain't never taken YK on no debate.
Bias.
Damn, you don't never pick Pan out.
Told you. Bias. Immediate bias. Don't know the subject matter. Don't know what's being debated. Immediate bias. What did I just tell y'all about proper research methodology? It weeds out bias. How you go into a debate already picking people you got and openly admitting that you will never pick YK. Like the audacity of you. Openly admitting this is crazy. Real quick, before I move a little bit further into this particular video, not a coincidence, are you going live or is this a video replay? So I can know how to time it up.
Africans, please.
Nah, I mean, at this point, it's 2025. These is people that's been around for years. They on the show buzz. I can't pick them.
Man.
So you saying you rolling with the new age pseudo, but you're an intellectual. These people been around. So you finna tell me that some Johnny come, I can't say Johnny come lately. Some new age Negro enters the chat with some bad information, and that information gonna supersede the truth. You just told us we using DNA to debunk something. Then we know for a fact that y'all got a whole new age argument. Your new age argument ain't even relevant in history. How long America been established as America? How long these white folk been in these colonies? In the 1600s, they established the colonies. They got directions from the queen. She sent them back the instructions. They labeled the instructions charters. The charters divvied down instructions for each colony and how to establish it and what they needed to do. And the whole time, ain't none of y'all around when they doing all of this, but there is a group of peoples that today we call the Native Americans. Prior to that, they were called their tribal names before these Europeans start interrupting their peace. But we come to find out that they are the descendants of the Paleo Indians, which would be the first peoples who entered the Americas. And their lives were changed. But here we are with y'all, and y'all ain't providing no inkling of anything. So let me hear a little bit more before I move forward. Okay. No. I need you to still go live. Because if you if you still gonna go live, I mean, just give me 30 minutes. I'm gonna try to finish before your shit go. Well, about 45 minutes. And then because some of this stuff I can just bring to your channel. Cause I already know what you're finna get into. Or when you get to that, you get your shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I started debating my own peers like Aborigines and shit. Cause this you get a better debate with your own peers and shit. You feel me?
Now they only want to debate their own people because they feel like it's a better debate debating their own people. Both of y'all lying to each other. How is that a better debate? So you want people to listen to y'all lie to each other and then try to sell us on who got the better lie. You can't make this shit up. Like I was listening to this earlier and I'm over here like, you cannot make this shit up. You got an admitting dumbass on a panel whose show it is, and then you got this other dude on the panel claiming to be an intellectual and ain't said one fucking intelligent thing the entire time that he's been on the panel.
Y'all niggas can fight.
At this point, because hell, we got the Africans even telling them niggas, like the Africans even laughing at them niggas now. They tell them this slave story shit. They even laughing at you now. So
what African is laughing at African Americans? Numerous countries in Africa are apologizing, have been apologizing, and expressing empathy and sympathy for the involvement of other Africans in the slave trade. Who's laughing? No. The Africans that you think that are laughing at someone are actually laughing at you, dumb Negroes. You know, those of you who want to be FBA, calling other black people tethers, disrespecting people on the continent. That's what they're talking about. The new age Negro with no education. Neither one of y'all have gone beyond the 9th grade, I'm convinced. Gone beyond the 9th grade in high school. And that was the easiest year. Your 9th grade year and the second semester of your senior year is supposed to be the easiest years of high school. Y'all never seen any of it.
I said, who picks losers? Nah, that's fucked up. Some people look at these people as winners.
I mean, you know, some people like the Cleveland Browns, and they'll never win.
Right, that's true.
So, you know, some people just like, they ride with their team. I ain't never been no loser picking ass nigga, though, so, you know.
No elbow has a source. Man,
they
just first because of all, y'all be trying to tell us we African and Pan-African when that's a European construct.
But just because you deny the source, don't mean they exist. Don't exist. I like y'all call and say no.
They sit here and say something about denying sources. The one thing that whoever made that comment in the chat, the one thing that I could say for certain is none of us deny source. We want your source. We want the source. We want to read it. We want to read it in full. We want to read before the point that you're trying to use and argue with us, and after the point where you try to choose and argue with us, because it is before and after the part you selected to read to us that gives us the context and tells us what actually is being said using your source.
Aboriginal has a source. No abo, whatever the fuck you
just said. That's what they say when a nigga show 100 books and go through.
Nigga show 100 books, 100 sources all day long, and they'll just say, "Oh, you didn't show a source."
Not one person in that community has 100 books. Not one. Not one. Not one person in that community have 100 books. Not one. They don't even have physical books. They ain't even got the whole PDF versions. They go to the Internet Archives for something from the 1890s. Every time. They don't read nothing else. They ain't even reading Top Cats or Dane Calloway books. I ain't heard not one Abo in a video, in a YouTube video or a YouTube short or a Facebook post, quote Dane or Top Cats or Mike TV. All you niggas is frauds. I ain't seen not one person quote y'all. Let me skip ahead. Sachi said something about methodology, and y'all heard that, and I wasn't never letting that down. And then this happens.
Kind of focusing on our community and our community issues. They try to coin them all them terms, communist, Marxist, and all them old weird ass terms to make them crazy. But it's looking like all this Africa talk is an effort to divert us from focusing on our issues right here in America. And it's looking like that's why the government funds it and stands behind it like they do, because it keeps us niggas from focusing on what we got to.
Y'all need to hear his claim in full. This is a claim. Now, find the evidence for his claim.
They been want to get you to go over there. Cause see, listen. From what I was reading about the Cold War shit, they said that they promoted African heritage to Black Americans for anti-communism, right? Efforts. Now, you know, they call the Black Panthers communists, and anybody that's kind of focusing on our community and our community issues, they try to coin them all them terms, communist, Marxists, and all them old weird ass terms to make them crazy. But it's looking like all this Africa talk is an effort to divert us from focusing on our issues right here in America. And it's looking like that's why the government funds it and it stands behind it like they do, because it keeps us niggas from focusing on what we got to.
You hear this, the conspiracy talk? It's conspiracy. He's literally creating a conspiracy, saying that he was reading something about the Cold War, and in whatever he was reading, it says something about funding shit that had nothing to do with the Cold War, but funding stuff about Africa to influence these people to think about this and then move forward with that. You're supposed to be reading some shit about the Cold War. We don't get a book or an article name, who wrote the article, nothing. We are supposed to believe everything these Negroes say. That pulls up a slideshow or maybe a potential presentation. I don't know. But this is what happens.
To worry about right here in America. That's what my research showing me.
Here's research. That's the number one problem in the community. His research. What the hell is your research? We can't qualify your research. We don't even trust you. How we know you reading the right shit? You can't even read at a third grade level. How are we supposed to believe you?
You're right. We the grandfathers of civilization. If they can change our minds and make us forget who we are, that's the end game for them. That's why they've been actively working on it for at least 150 to 200 years almost. You feel me? Actively trying to change your mind and make you forget who you are. Facts, bro. Look at these three sellouts. These are the godfathers of the Pan-African community. These are their forefathers, and they all sellouts. Like I told, not a coincidence. Show me a black nigga claiming to be African in the 18 or the 1700s that's not a Christian. Because that's how they was indoctrinating them, Sanchi, through the Sunday schools. See, the same people who ran and opened.
Did y'all hear that? Listen to it again. Listen to it again. Here's the problem that I have with this. Before I play it again, here's the problem that I have. They used the church back in those times as a tool to help liberate, motivate, and educate. They used the church back in those times to help feed, shelter, protect, and plan for the black people in the community. It wasn't about being a glorified minister, preacher, bishop, or pastor with the biggest congregation. It wasn't what it was today. There was no brainwashing going on here. It was a teaching environment, a safe haven, and space for Black people to find their way forward together. We had a clear-cut enemy. We knew who the ops were, and we knew what it would take to advance forward. Regardless of how I feel personally about the church and Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb. I'm not biased enough to sit here and ridicule. I grew out of that. It took a while, but I grew out of that. Do I think it was all the church? No, I don't. I don't think it was just the church. No, I don't. But the way certain people use these tools to help liberate and emancipate the and children amongst themselves as men was every bit worth everything that went through that experience. And then here we got this motherfucker, Calvin Denzel Roberts, who was a slave, who was the descendant of someone who was enslaved. Say this shit.
For at least 150 to 200 years almost. You feel me? Actively trying to change your mind.
And it's looking like that's why the government funds it and stands behind it like they do, because it keeps us niggas from focusing on what we got to worry about right here in America. That's what my research showing me.
You're right. We the grandfathers of civilization. If they can change our minds and make us forget who we are, that's the end game for them. That's why they've been actively working on it for at least 150 to 200 years almost. You feel me? Actively trying to change your mind and make you forget who you are. Facts, bro. Look at these three sellouts. These fathers of the Pan-African community. These are their forefathers, and they all sellouts. Like I told, not a coincidence. Show me a Black nigga claiming to be African in the 18 or the 1700s that's not a Christian. Because that's how they was indoctrinating them, Sanchi, through the Sunday.
I know.
The same people who ran and opened up Presbyterian churches is the same people that opened up Freemason lodges. Same people.
Yeah, the Sunday school. It go all from free African school to Sunday school to the Mason lodge.
Sunday school was first coined at a Presbyterian church. It wasn't used in an Apostle, Baptist, or none of that. It was first used in a Presbyterian. Presbyterian churches is built by Masons. The first Presbyterian church, and all of them built after that time, was all built by Masons. Known Masons. Created, ran, and funded.
So they can push their ideology, because they need you to be African so you can leave, because you know they got the real, you know they got their book. They book say that America is.
They want to teach you this African shit so you can leave. They said all of that to say that they're teaching you about Africa so much so you can leave. And they just sit here agreeing with their own ignorance. When I set the stage for the show, I specifically talked about evidence being an essential part in proving something. These are claims. These are narrative-based claims. This is not history. There's no evaluating of source material that would actually substantiate the positions in which they're taking. This is subjective.
The motherland. So they want you to leave so they can have it.
One of the top niggas from one of the secret Mason societies called Skull and Bones started a government branch called the CIA. That same CIA started funding schools to continue the indoctrination process that they were doing in Sunday schools. Now they did it in higher educational schools. The first school will be Columbia University to have government CIA funding to push a projector. To push an agenda and propaganda. This is stated in the CIA debriefing, which is illegal because the CIA ain't even supposed to operate in America.
Then they also funded the American Society, the CIA. They were funded the American Society of African Culture, which was founded by Thurgood Marshall.
Well, before we even got there, they funded the reason we even talk about culture through science today. That's the field that we call anthropology. Anthropology was funded by no other than who? Franz Boas, the German Jew, the director of anthropology, Columbia University. He is the godfather and the father of anthropology. Direct funding by the CIA once again.
This is what they put on the screen. Notice the slides identify who Frank Boas is, but the slides don't identify the shit that they were saying leading up to that. There was no slide identifying that this particular person has an influence over this and how the CIA is symmetrically tied to this. Ladies and gentlemen, Epsilon Jones was mentioned, and a lot of other people were mentioned as forefathers, and then you were turned around and sent somewhere else. Wasn't nothing mentioned about Pan-Africanism or any of those things. The American Colonization Society wasn't mentioned. But I'm gonna mention it. I haven't got there yet. So 1829 right here, right? A public meeting was held at a church. What a coincidence. This book talks about the proceedings of a public meeting and they have such a problem. I thought I had problems with the church. These dudes, they got real problems. Hold on 1 second. So, at a meeting held pursuant to public notice in the Middle Dutch Church on Wednesday evening for the purpose of hearing statements respecting the present circumstances, prospects, and necessities of American Colonization Society, His Honor and the Mayor was called to the chair, and Reverend John Knox was appointed secretary. The object of the meeting was stated by the Reverend Dr. Wayne Wright, and addresses were delivered by Reverend Mr. Gallaudet, Captain Stockton, Francis S. Key, Esquire, whereupon the following resolutions were adopted. Resolved, as the sense of this meeting that we highly approve the objects, the past exertions, and the future plans of the American Colonization Society, and earnestly recommended to the patronage of this community. Resolved, that a committee of 3 be appointed to take immediate measures to raise funds for the American Colonization Society in its present exigency, and transmit the same of the Board of the Society of Washington. Merdant Van Schack, Frederick Sheldon, and W.D. Levitt, Esquire, were appointed to such a committee. Resolved that the thanks of this committee to be given to the gentlemen who have presented such full and satisfactory information concerning the interest questions of colonizing Africa. Resolved that the committee appointed by this meeting be requested to procure copies of the addressed delivery on the present occasion and to cause the same to be published with a view of the disseminating information and exciting the zeal of the philanthropic public in favor of the objects contemplated by the American Colonization Society. Resolved that the banks of this meeting be given to his honor and the mayor for his attention in presiding. Resolved that these proceedings be signed by the chairman and secretary and published with the papers of the city. Walter Brown, chairman. John Knox, secretary. The reason for the government and the establishment of this society was because America was trying to come up with a solution to prevent any other resurrections on plantations, any uprisings, any issues. They've been doing this for some time. It wasn't before this. They've been trying to come up with a resolution. Sending black people west was one of their resolutions. Making Mississippi a state full of nothing but black people was a resolution. They deemed that too much of a problem, so they came up with an alternative, the American Colonization Society. They would have their meetings, they would interject, they would get to a point where they introduce it to leaders in the black community. Not everybody wanted to go. They said that. But it was never an effort to send all the free black people out of the country, and even some that were enslaved who just earned their freedom out of the country, right? That wasn't their intent, to just get rid of black people in the America so they can have America. They still got people in a chokehold. So ultimately, we don't even understand how we get to the point of these dudes on a panel having this conversation. There's more to these proceedings, but I provided the actual link to the proceedings in the description of the video intentionally. So now I want to take y'all to a historical document and just give it brief, because in about 15 to 20 minutes, Not a Coincidence is going to be live, and I want people to tap into it, and I ain't trying to hold him up. I'm off the next few days. I don't know what his schedule looks like, but I know he got some stuff he want to get off his chest, and I'm going to allow him to be able to do that. A1 is not looking for me. He know where I'm at. How could he be looking for me and I'm live on the Mossy? He can't be looking for me, Neck. He would have been pulled up. I've been live the last few times. He know where I'm at. He know I just ain't finna just keep popping up over there where he at. And for, like I said, I know y'all want this source. Readily available. Readily available. Keep it a thou wow, readily available. Immigration and colonization, the debate among African Americans from 1780s to 1860s. From the earliest years of independent American Republic to its final years of the Civil War, the issues of immigration and colonization bred vehement debate among African Americans. Should freedmen stay in the United States to promote abolition, or head west to settle in California and other territories, or north to join the communities of fugitive slaves in Canada, or east across the Atlantic to support the colonies for freed slaves established in West Africa? Should black activists align with the white abolitionists to support colonization, or create their own organizations to advocate for the enslaved? The multifaceted debate is captured in these excerpts from 30 documents, including speeches, essays, letters, and newspaper editorials. How did the funding of the American Colonization Society in 1817 affect the debate? The creation of Liberia in 1822, the independence of Liberia in 1847, the Fugitive Slave Law of 1850, the approach of the Civil War in the 1850s, the prospect of general emancipation in the early 1860s. 1787, Anthony Taylor, Newport, Rhode Island, fundraiser letter. January of 1787 says, as a president of the Free African Union Society, a mutual benefit organization of free blacks in Newport, Anthony Taylor sends this letter to potential white supporters of an American colony for free blacks. Our earnest desire of returning to Africa and settling there was induced us further to trouble you in order to convey a more particular idea of our proposal. That a number of men among ourselves should be sent to Africa to see if they can obtain, by gift of purchase, land sufficient to settle upon. And if such land can be obtained, then some of these men shall return and bring information. The company then shall go without their wives and children to make preparation for their families. This plan is agreeable to us, but as we are unable to prosecute it for want of money, this is the only reason of our troubling our superiors for assistance. We want to know by what right we shall possess said lands when we settle upon them, for we think it is unwise to settle in Africa unless the right and feel of the land is first made over to us and our hires. This is Anthony Taylor in the name of the Union. 1816. We got our dear brother Paul Cuffey to William Allen. Cuffey, free African-American businessman in Massachusetts who built successful shipbuilding firms, supported a British colony for free slaves in the West African region of Sierra Leone. In his letter to the white British abolitionists in London, he reports on his trips to Sierra Leone with 38 other African-American adults and children. Cuffey returned to Massachusetts and died a year later. What happened? Dear friend William Allen, the people I took over were all common laborers. They are inclined to cultivate the land, to make trial with tobacco for the present year. 5 of them has about 10 acres of ground cut away. 1 has undertaken to work the governor's plantation. The 7th to a farm of 1 citizen. The 8th to a farm with the Congo people, as he is one of the nations a little out of Sierra Leone. He intends to go to the Congo. The 9th is a native of Senegal and thinks of getting to Senegal. This man, to William Allen, just told someone in London that one of the men was from Senegal and he is looking to get back to Senegal. As to my opinion in rendering the chiefs friendly towards civilization, I recommend opening roads for the tribe to tribe with their consent and establishing factories, making present to the chiefs only helps to whet their appetite for more. If these factories were in different places, such as the articles as they needed, it would help to make them more industrious. Cuffey. Another excerpt. This is James Fortner. His letter was to Paul Cuffey, January 25th in 1817. Y'all thought that we didn't have no motherfucking communication. Y'all thought that we couldn't access any historical documents. What I told y'all is a settled topic. Who we are in America has been settled. It's been settled. What we arguing about has been settled. I'm going primaries. James Fortin was a free black businessman in Pennsylvania and a supporter of Cuffey's plan. Described a meeting of black leaders opposed to colonization. Later that year, a group of white abolitionists formed the American Colonization Society with the goal of creating a West African colony for free blacks. Realized that the funding of Liberia in 1822 Esteemed friend, this is to Paul Cuffey. My esteemed friend, I must now mention to you that the whole continent seems to be agitated concerning colonization, the people of color. See, this is why I did a presentation on the reverse of that situation. I told the story on how the continental Africans felt about the African Americans coming to the Americas. Some people already seen this presentation. You got to go back a few years to see it now. It's on this channel. The things that they said about the African Americans coming in, and you got to get that reality. Indeed, the color here was very much frightened. At first, they were afraid that all of the free people would be compelled to go, particularly in the southern states. We had a large meeting of the males at the Reverend Allen's church the other evening. 3,000 at least attended, and there was not one soul that was in favor of going to Africa. They think that the slaveholders want to get rid of them so as to make their property more secure. However, it appears to me that if the Father of all the mercies is in the interesting subject, for it appeared that they all think that something must and ought to be done, but do not know where nor how to begin, the way will be made straight and clear. We, however, have agreed to remain silent, as the people here, both white and color, are decided against the measure. My opinion is that they will never become a people until they come out from amongst the white people. But as the majority is decidedly against me, I am determined to remain silent except as to my opinion, which I freely give when asked. Abraham Kemp's letter to Elias Caldwell, where the idea of the colonization did appeal to Black Americans. It did so on the basis of possibly offering a practical alternative to a life of continual humiliations. Indicative of this minority sentiment is the letter written by Abraham Kemp, an Illinois free Black, on July 13, 1838, to Caldwell, Secretary of the Colonization. Here's what he said. I am a free man of color, have a family and a large connection of free people of color residing in the Wabash River who are willing to leave America whenever the way shall be open. We love this country and its liberties, if we could share an equal right in them, but our freedom is partial, and we have no hope that it will ever will be otherwise here. Therefore, we had rather be gone. Though we should suffer hunger and nakedness for years, your honor may be assured that nothing shall be lacking on the part of our complying with whatever provision shall be made by the United States, whether it be to go to Africa or some other place. We shall hold ourselves in readiness, praying that God, who made man free in the beginning, and who by his kind providence has broken the yoke from every white American, could inspire the heart of every true son of the liberty with zeal and pity to open the door of freedom for us also. I am. Daniel Coker letter to Jeremiah Watts, April 3rd, 1820. Funded by the American colonization, Daniel Coker and 84 free African Americans immigrated to the British colony Sierra Leone in 1820, where Coker served as a Methodist missionary. Writing to his brother in Baltimore, he describes his arrival and encourages his brother to join him in Africa. Dear brother, this comes to inform you of my good health and safe arrival in Africa. When I wrote to my wife, I did not expect to get time to write to you, and so I gave my love to you in her letter. But having just returned from a visit to one of the kings with the agent and finding the ship not gone, I snatched this passing moment to inform you that I have seen and passed through strange things since I last saw you. Oh, my brother and sister, how great a work is this! The millions in this land are the thousands in America, and the thousands unborn are deeply interested in it. One more time, what he's saying about Africa. The millions in this land are the thousands in America, and the thousands unborn are deeply interested in it. I can say that my soul cleaves to Africa in such a manner as to reconcile me to the idea of being separated from my dear friends in the comforts of Christian land. But I confess, when I think of you all, it is as much as I can bear. But my brother and sister, if we don't meet soon in this life, we may soon meet in heaven. I expect to give my life to bleeding, groaning, dark, benighted Africa. I expect to pass through much. If I should live, I shall rejoice to see you in this land. It is a good land. It is a rich land. And I do believe it would be a great nation and powerful and worthy nation. But those who break the way will suffer much. If you ask my opinion as to coming out, I say, let all that can sell out and come and bring ventures to trade, and you may do much better than you can possibly do in America, and not work half so hard. I wish that thousands were here and had goods to trade with. Bring about 2 hogsheads and a gold leaf tobacco, cheap calico and cheap handkerchiefs, pens, knives, and forks, pocket knives, etc. With these you may buy land, hire hands, or buy provisions. I say, come, the land is good. Newport Gardner. His statement on immigrating to Liberia in 1826. Captured in Ghana as a teenager, Newport Gardner eventually gained his freedom and co-founded the Free African Union Society in Newport, Rhode Island. In 1826, he returned to Africa with other free blacks, settling in the colony of Liberia. His response on the boarding the ship was described in memoir. This is his memoir, which you could read the actual goddamn word for word. The memoir of the life and character of Samuel Hopkins, 1830. One aged black was among the number, who seemed to be filled with almost youthful enthusiasm for the cause. I go, he exclaimed, to set an example to the youth of my race. I go to encourage the young. They can never be elevated here. I have tried it 60 years. It is in vain. Could I, by my example, lead them to set sail and I die the next day, I should be satisfied. The man is telling you I can go over here and be a king, but I'm just a peasant in America. It's 1826. 60 years old man telling these people, man, I done did all this stuff y'all trying to do. It ain't working. So I'm going to take my black ass back on to Africa and I'm going to make this shit shake. I'm not going to continue to read the letters and the things that people were saying about this, but there were a lot of conversations regarding this. This is one of the primary documents that actually provides attestations from people themselves, eyewitness accounts, explaining what it is that they're going through, what they've endured, and how to overcome those things. But remember, there was letters for both sides. No, we don't want to go. And then there was sides saying, man, you need to bring your black ass over here. It was what it was. But when you got people online arguing about something that they don't even understand, you're going to get confused. They even had anti-colonization meetings. This was in Syracuse on a Tuesday in March 18th, 1853, for the purpose of expressing their views upon the subject of colonization. Reverend J.W. Logan was called to the chair. T.A. King appointed the secretary. The object of the meeting having been stated by Chairman, Messengers G.B. Vashon, Jenkins, Highgate, Samuel Ray H.J. Simpson were appointed at the committee to draft resolutions for the citation. They reported the following, and I'm not going to give you all of it, but I did give you the source. At a crisis when danger threatens any class of the community, their duty imposed upon them by reason and by a consciousness of placated manhood compels them to enter the solemn protest against all aggressions made or attempted upon their liberties in order that the world may know that, however insignificant may be their number and political influence, they are not the same. Submissions and willing the victims of tyranny and injustice. In this view of these premises and of wrongs which colored Americans have been forced to endure in the land of their nativity, we have decided, after calm and serious deliberation, that it be resolved that we, the colored citizens of Syracuse, view the entire action of the federal and of nearly all the states' governments in relation to the class of which we are members as the offsprings of those unallowed prejudice, as the efforts to force the expatriation, all those whom a dread of the indignation of the civilized world will not permit them to enslave. Resolved that we regard the various measures which have been employed to the effect this purpose as unfounded in sound policy, utterly repugnant to the spirit of free institutions and accursed in the sight of God. Resolved that our adherence of the scheme of African colonization is not the slightest degree abated, that we recognize in it the most intense hatred of the colored race, clad in the garb of pretended philanthropy, and that we regard the revival of colonization societies in various sections of the Union and the expulsion of colored citizens from Delaware, Indiana, Iowa, and more, recently from Illinois, and kindred manifestations of a passion fit only for demons to indulge in. Resolved that we heard with the deepest regret the formation of the colonization society in our own county of Onondaga, but that even in the view of this in the event, we have reasons to congratulate ourselves upon the fact that the great majority of its members are of characters so genuinely and definitively known as to raise doubts with the reference to the real benevolence of an association thus constituted. I'm just going to leave it there, because it was black people was on both sides of this argument, have been on both sides of this argument since the beginning of that. And for anyone to come out here and try to project or say anything else, it is it's just out of their mind ignorant. Out of their mind ignorant. And then Absalom Jones, just to bring him into the equation since motherfuckers is dropping his name. They don't even know anything about this man. They don't know nothing about this man. So before I get into this real briefly, because I'm only going to hit on a few points, who he is, really the first three paragraphs, but not a coincidence. I know you're still listening. You can gear up, bro, because I know there's more to it. But anyway, Absalom Jones. He was born a slave in Sussex County, Delaware. Was an African-American abolitionist and clergyman. He was a slave, ladies and gentlemen. What you think he want to see? He was a clergyman who became a prominent in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. When he was 16, his owner sold him along with his mother and siblings to a neighboring farmer. That year, the farmer kept Absalom, but sold his mother and siblings to move to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where he became a merchant. Absalom was allowed to attend school and learn to read and write, while still enslaved by Mr. Wincoop. Who was a vestry of a Christ Church and later St. Peter's. Absalom married Mary King, an enslaved woman. So his wife was even an enslaved woman. She was owned by S. King, a neighbor to the Wincoops. On January 4, 1707, Reverend Jacob Duche performed the wedding ceremony. Absalom Jones, who was a slave, married a slave woman. By 1778, Absalom had purchased his wife freedom so that their children would be free. He asked if the aid and the donation of loans, according to colonial law, children took to the status of their mothers. So children born to slave women were born enslaved. Absalom also wrote to his master seeking his own freedom, but was initially denied. In 84, however, Wincook manumitted him, possibly inspired by revolutionary ideals. Absalom took the surname Jones as an indication of his American identity. Around 1780, Methodist movement was sweeping through the colonies as part of the Second Great Awakening. It came at a time of the Revolution ferment and the closing of a period of the American Revolutionary War. The movement was especially popular in New York, Baltimore, and Philadelphia. Methodists had developed in Great Britain, evangelicals within the Church of England. In December of 1784, Thomas Coke and Francis Asbury established the Methodist Episcopal Church as a new denomination separate from the Church of England. Disappointment at the racial discrimination he experienced in the local Methodist church, he founded the Free African Society with Richard Allen in 1787, a mutual aid society for Americans in the city. The Free African Society included many other people newly freed from slavery after the American Revolution. Last one. In 1794, Jones founded the first Black Episcopal congregation. In 1802, he was the first African American to be ordained as a priest. He is listed in the Episcopal calendar of saints. He is remembered liturgically on the date of his death in February 13, 1979. Book of the Common Prayer is Absalom Jones, priest 1880. I said absolute. That's a little bit about these dudes try to literally manipulate some of the founding members of this Free African Society and then say that the CIA funded these people. Absalom Jones and others were already teaching people about who they were and where they came from. He was a slave. His wife was a slave. All he knew was slavery until he was able to get free. They established the Free African Society. Him and Richard Allen. So freaking what that he was a pastor. Why would you bring these people up? Why would you bring up the Free African Society and the CIA in the same glimpse? We were born, but we wasn't born yesterday. We can smell the pseudoisms in your bullshit. We've been knowing you've been with the bullshit. And the whole time you try to put smut on this man's name, knowing that he came up out of some shit. He was enslaved. You people are mentally ill. Running around here saying the most outlandish bullshit ever. Knock, where you at, bro? Strike up the channel. So my point in all of this, and probably continue to follow up because there's more in this video that's some bullshit. But stop being so goddamn gullible. Allowing these people to lie to you about who you are, you got going on. We knew who we were. That's why we were establishing free African societies and all these other things with African in front of it way before the CIA. We were already identifying with Africa long before the CIA ever came through with anything. We didn't get no funding then, still ain't getting no funding now. Why the hell is you really trying to play us like this? So these societies that predate the CIA are the purpose for the CIA funding. Is hilarious. And y'all are intellectuals and ain't read a book. I don't know when y'all ain't. But I highly recommend that you get back to it and you learn how to read the right shit. In the description, in the comment section of this particular video, in the comments where all the people at, all the people in the chat, I dropped a link to Not a Coincidence's channel. We are about to go over there right now because he about to get busy. And we'll probably pick up on some of this stuff that has transpired, but there'll be other things that'll actually be going forward in that discussion. Make sure y'all beat me there. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. And in the words of the good brother, another pseudo dies at its source. Do not let them trick you out your spot or your identity as a person.
From Africa, but they will be able to tell you about Africa. They wouldn't be vaguely saying they from Africa, brother. Like when a European says I'm from Europe, he doesn't say I'm from Europe. He says I'm from Germany. I'm from a particular province. I still got people out there, right? You know, when people say hold on. When people say they from Asia, they tell you where about from Asia they from. They tell you their province. They tell you they still got people out there. These people will confirm that they are indeed a part of their heritage. But you niggas was calling y'all African? Oh, mysteriously, you have no contact with the people you say you descend from. So I don't believe you. Bro.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this whip in. I caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos. Caught another Abos. Caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos, caught another, let's go. Caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos slipping. Caught another Abos, caught another Abos, caught another Abos slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Karimio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, you are African. Call the Abos slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
You got some dewy-eyed thing that you got a friend. I still ask you to look at that mirror. And if nothing staring back at you is friendly, then you've got no